Hello, everybody. How are y'all doing? I hope everybody's good. It has been a wild ride for me lately, but thank y'all for being here. See, we got one love. Auntie stopped by to say hello, and Miss Janice. We got Miss Millie. Thank you, thank you. Y'all are all so sweet to me. Thank you so much. I hope y'all can see me okay. It has been storming here again. We are on day 13 with rain every single day. And not just a sprinkle rain, a little light rain. It has been storms. So, anyways, we have been just hammered with rain. I'm so tired of it. But my son and them have been a week with no lights, no electricity until this morning. And there are still people without electricity. So, anyways, hey, Mimi of Six, thanks for being here. Appreciate y'all so much. So, I have been, hey, Solo Sock. Hi, thanks for being here. I have been since Wednesday taking care of a 6-year-old little girl and a 10-year-old little girl. And the 6-year-old has had all stars. So we've had scrimmage games, practices, even in the watery fields, the mud. Come home, wash her clothes, wash her cleats. It has been crazy. I forgot what it was like to have little kids. And my house has no beds except for mine. And the three of us could not sleep together because my oldest granddaughter sleeps like crazy. And so I couldn't go to my son's house because they didn't have electricity. And so we're at my daughter in law's mother's house because she's in Vegas with them. So, anyways, it's been a wild ride. We did have a game Friday night for her and a game today, and they won both of their games like 14-4 and 14-2. So they did really, really good. And my little grandson, they played a game this morning. Oh, one love, thank you. Hi, Jody Ann. Thanks for being here. Hippie grandma. Y'all are so sweet. But my little grandson played his first game this morning. They lost. And so their second game, I got to make it to. And they were losing bad. And the other team, it was unreal. There was kids that are like T-ball size kids. So we're talking 6 and under. And there were kids trying to trip our kids, putting their foot out, trying to trip them. They would stand in the way in the baseline, wouldn't let our kids get to the base. And then their coach on the third base, they would go to the base and take off running. Our kid would be right there and she would grab them and pull them back to the base. They're not supposed to touch the kids. It was the craziest game, but our kids played with respect and they played good. And my grandson, we needed 3 runs or 4 runs. We had 2 scored. There was 2 on base, and my grandson got up to hit the ball and he smacked it outfield. 2 runs scored in game 1. So yay, he was the hero of the game tonight. And he also made a double play. So yay. So we are a baseball, softball family around here. It's fun times for the little ones. And if my granddaughter for Coach Pitch, if she wins tomorrow, then they go to state. So that's a good accomplishment. So that's what my life has been like for a couple days now. Running, running, running. So as y'all can tell, I'm in lolly softball mode, but it's been fun. I've loved every single minute of it. Hey, not crazy. Thanks for being here. If I missed anybody else, welcome, welcome. Thank y'all. I hope everybody's good. There's been lots of storms all across the way. And I just heard there are 3 or 4 tropical waves out there that they're watching very close. Lord. Thanks, one love. Oh, I feel icky. And we were sitting out there at the ballpark, and thank goodness they had cover because it started raining. It rained for about 10 minutes and then it stopped. And the little kids, man, they just kept playing. There was no lightning, so they could keep playing. They were drenched. But anyways, just a little rain, one love. Good gosh, we are having trees literally. And we live in the piney woods of East Texas. And I'm talking humongous tall pine trees like you've never seen. And these things are all falling over because the ground is so wet. And a pine tree has what they call a tap root that goes down several feet straight down in the ground. And those things, when the wind blows, they can just bend all the way down and go back up. And they don't break. But we're seeing them break because they're rotting at the base, at the bottom there. It's so wet. Trees are down everywhere. So next week we are supposed to dry out a little bit. I hope so. I'm tired of rain. Next week I will be getting the rest of my stuff out of my house, and that'll be super emotional. It has been a roller coaster for sure. But yeah, kids do love to play in the rain, but we can't even let them play in the rain with this rain because we're getting high winds with it, thunder, lightning, and humongous downpours. It's horrible. It is so bad. It's crazy. I haven't been keeping up too much because I've been so busy. And by the time it's bedtime for the girls, I'm exhausted and falling down myself. I'm just like, what? But I haven't really paid attention to what's going on the streets too much. But I did work yesterday on some info that I wanted to talk to you guys about, and it does pertain to Sebastian Rogers. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. But we all know Sebastian has autism. And I did some research on it and autism and the things that go along with that. And I thought we could go over it, and we're going to just kind of compare what we know about Sebastian to what everything is doing. You know, we're hearing from everybody about him. Hi, Victoria. Thanks for being here. But autism is a mental health condition. It affects an individual's ability to socialize, communicate, and understand abstract concepts. Autism is present from birth and in more than 1% of the population in many countries. Hey, Aunt Sherry, how are you doing? Love you big. My sister-in-law's in here. Oh, Sherry Christmas. But autism is categorized as part of the autism spectrum disorder. It groups together a number of similar conditions, including Asperger's syndrome. Autism itself can also vary in severity, with some autistic people struggling with even the most basic communication, and other being fully independent and high functioning. Now, they say Sebastian is high functioning. So that's good to know. So we can go from, off of that. But for these reasons, it's incorrect to think autism is an illness that can be treated. There is no cure for autism, and indeed, many people see it as an important and valuable part of their identity with its own strengths and weaknesses, just like any cluster of personality traits. So I got to thinking at this point, Sebastian's a teenager. So what being a child with high functioning autism, I wanted to look at the things that they could be up against and stuff. So I found navigating life can be difficult for a teen. Being autistic can make things even more complicated. And if any of us have raised teenage kids, we know that at the age 15, it can be a nightmare for them. Okay, Jody, and your son's got Asperger's, your second son. So it says, if you haven't been diagnosed yet, you may not understand that the way you process the world around you can be part of being on the autism spectrum. It may make you feel isolated and confused. Now, we do know that Sebastian had just been diagnosed with autism. So that would make it where he wasn't adapted to it possibly, and he wasn't maybe understanding it all yet. And so therefore it could cause him to feel isolated and very confused. Hey, Whistle. Thanks for being here. So as a teenager, you may find that they are withdrawing, quick to temper, easily distressed, anxious, or confused. September, thank you. You're so sweet. Thanks. Love you, girl. So let me read that again for you guys. And y'all think of Sebastian. As a teenager, they may find themselves withdrawn, quick to temper, easily distressed, anxious, or confused. So we know, or let me rephrase that. Let's think of it as, from what we've heard, we assume that, Mr. Chris has not made life easy there in his home. So being a teenager with autism, you could be very quick to temper, could be very easily distressed, anxious, and possibly confused. So it said, but much of this could just be typical teenage behavior. Knowing some of the characteristics of autism in teenagers can be the first step to working out if behavior is related to a stage of their life, or the characteristics might be an indicator that the individual is autistic. Now, I don't understand how Sebastian was just now diagnosed. Y'all, I don't get it. But it does say, just a reminder that this information is just some of the common characteristics of autism. It is unlikely that any teenager will display all of these characteristics. It's important to remember that only a qualified professional can carry out an assessment for autism. So let's talk about the characteristics of an autistic teenager like Sebastian. So, behavioral characteristics of an autistic teen, it can greatly affect a teenager in all aspects of their life having autism. At a time when one experiences physical changes, social milestones, autistic teens can have a hard time coping and dealing with multiple life events. Some examples of potential challenges for a teen with autism are difficulty following complex school routines, rebellious demeanor at home and in school, unable to make friends because of poor hygiene, difficulty understanding romantic and sexual feelings, giving in to peer pressure without realizing the consequences, becoming a target of bullying due to poor social and communication skills. And that's got to be hard. It has to be really hard because just being a regular teenager and going to school and everything, that's hard enough. But you throw in these things here with an autistic child, oh, it's got to be horrible. The one that really stood out to me in that behavioral was rebellious demeanor at home. Is that what happened with Sebastian? Did he get to a point where he became rebellious? I don't know. That just really stuck out to me because it's a possibility. Activities for an autistic child, outdoor activities and sports can help autistic teens take a break from their routine. It can also help them learn new things outside the classroom, which is great for self-esteem. From what we've heard, Sebastian didn't go outside much. He only went outside to take the trash out. So they listed some things that are good for autistic teens to do for outside type of activities, such as summer camp, swimming, yoga, soccer, hiking, horseback riding, theater workshops, and art class. But we didn't hear of any of that for Sebastian. Now, I went ahead and put this part down because I don't know that Sebastian had been diagnosed long enough for Katie or Seth or Chris to really understand what they're up against and to see what he really was going through. But advice for a parent of autistic teen: navigating the teenage years with an autistic child may present unique challenges. But it's crucial for parents to stay informed. Open communication, seeking support from professionals, and the community. Embracing autism, understanding individual strengths and needs, and providing a supportive environment can empower both parent and autistic teen on their journey towards adulthood and a fulfilling life. And looking into the character of autism, we found some very interesting things. And I don't know that Sebastian had that support to embrace his autism, to understand what his individual strengths were, his needs, his supportive environment. I'm not sure that he got that. And those are some key things that's needed here. Now, I did find a section where they were asking different questions, and a lot of them were already answered in this part that I had found and got ready for you guys. But there's one question: can you develop autism as a teen? And the answer was no. Autism doesn't develop during the teen years. Signs of autism are usually present since early childhood. It's recommended to assess children with possible autistic traits as early as age 2. But Sebastian just recently got diagnosed. How in the hell is that possible? How is it possible that this child did not have teachers that pushed the issue? How is it that his mother did not push that issue into getting him some help, finding out what is going on? Because unless you have that diagnosis, schools will not give that help. So, yes, he has chromosome deletion syndrome also, Laura Jean, yes. I'm too honest for this, according to whom? What are you asking? We know that Sebastian was diagnosed not too long ago. But yet, here we have all of the research and the study done saying you are born with this syndrome. He was, his parents, his mother and his father both said that he was diagnosed just not too long ago. They have not said exactly when, but they said not too long ago that he was finally diagnosed with this. And he's 15. And even if he was diagnosed at 12 or 13, he should have had the help previously in his life. His parents should have had some help learning how to live with an autistic child, because that has to be hard. And I really think that, and guys, this is just my opinion, but when Chris talked about Sebastian not having a belt, he had to go get his belt, and Chris got the belt and whacked him across his butt. To you and me, it'd probably been just enough to piss us off. But to an autistic child who has feelings, nerves that are just really touchy, I just couldn't imagine. What's not true, Petra? Yeah, little C, he should have been diagnosed much sooner. And, how many doctors missed it? I agree. I'm too honest. How is it that doctors missed it? How is it that his teachers missed it? This child should have been getting help a long time ago. He should have learned how to adjust a long time ago. But I just really, he didn't say he whacked him having a belt. Justin for all did not make that up, Petra. We all heard Chris say he whacked him with the belt, and he said whack with the belt because he didn't have a belt on. Petra, go back and listen to it. I believe that was on Smiley's. Hey, Lisa. Thanks for being here. But I couldn't imagine having a child and the whole time just thinking that he's just a disruptive kid. Because Laura Jean, I am in the process. I had to stop. I didn't get to finish the chromosome deletion process, stuff there. Oh, Birdie, hey, ball field time. Yeah, you shouldn't use a belt, but I just couldn't imagine if Sebastian did have that touch tendencies, that the nerve endings just were really very sensitive, and then to get spanked with the belt. I couldn't imagine what that would feel like. And I may be wrong on that. He may not have had that. He may not have had that nerve sensation. But if he did, I couldn't imagine. Could not imagine. I know. Okay, Laura Jean, I'm going to find out about it. And I had started that process to put it with this. And then, like I said, ball games, kids. Y'all, I'm too old for having two little kids. I tell you what, it's about to wear me out. But I didn't get to finish that part of it. But we'll do it another time, I promise. We'll talk about it. Because I started that process. I just didn't get to finish it. But you looked at the statistics of... Okay, wait. Let me go back to this. And you said, I never thought of it until yesterday, but I looked at the statistics of an autistic self-unaliving is high. Really? I hate to think that, but he had an awful home life. Yeah. Oh, Lord. I did not realize that, Whistle. That's so not good. Man, guys, it could be anything. It really could. And that's the saddest part of all. Because here's a child who probably didn't understand everything he's going through. Even if he knew he was autistic, if he knew that he had autism and the chromosome deletion thing, even if that was the case, it's still got to be hard for him because he probably was very confused. Think of a regular 14 or 15-year-old kid. Yeah, Lisa, he probably did get bullied at school and then went home to have some more. And I think we pretty much can all agree on that. That's what we're getting. That's the sense we're getting off of the stories that have been told. And so that's, mm, yeah, it does. When love, it breaks my heart because this child was probably very, very confused. He was probably trying to learn with this new diagnosis that just got put on him. He probably couldn't understand why all of a sudden he had it. There is no cure for it. There's nothing that they can give him to make him normal. You can have ADHD, ADD. They can give you medicine that pretty much puts you streamlined. But for autism, there's just not. There's so much more to it. Yeah, it's just very hard. And I feel so bad for him. And yeah, exactly. I'm too honest. Love them. Love your children so much no one can tear them down. And that's correct. Yeah, little kids can. Yeah. Whew. But this is just some of it. This was just the icing on the cake that I just went over and read here. I had it all done in a PowerPoint thing for you so y'all can read it while I was, but the weather's so bad, the internet's just really weak. I couldn't pull nothing up. But yes, Solo Sock. The fact that there is no sign of him absolutely makes no sense at all. I mean, there's times where I kind of wonder if maybe he is alive. And no, I have 3 dogs too, by the way. 2 kids, 3 dogs. Um, I wonder if they took him somewhere, had him taken somewhere, and they're holding him. I don't know. Because I think if he was unalived, I think something would be found by now. I would think. But I wonder about it, One Love. I don't know. I can't figure it out. But it's crazy. Oh, I got 2. I'm too honest. I have my 2 young granddaughters, 6 and 10, and then 3 dogs on top of it. It's a little crazy around here. I think a lot of times we get to where, here we are sitting here talking about true crime, talking about these kids' cases. And after a while, you kind of get desensitized to where you assume this is the way it should be, it should be, it should be. Well, they're not doing this, this, and this. But we got to stop and think about it. This is a child who, although he was high functioning, still needed some guidance, still needed help. And he needed his parents. Because there's no way just learning that diagnosis that he had had time to grasp that whole concept of what is happening, that he's not crazy. These are real true things that he feels, and inside and outside and all that stuff. Yes, September, it has had it rough. Girl, it was just raining cats and dogs a while ago and thundering. Yeah, I'm too honest. We all need our parents. We all need someone with us. Oh, criminal justice, true crime. Thank you so much. That's so sweet. That is so sweet. Thank you. Evil does walk around us every single day. It does. And the parents, they're not perfect. None of us as parents were perfect. And they may have still been trying to adjust and adapt. So we can't really fault them for that. But what we can fault them for is the mother and the stepdad not searching for him. They're on channel after channel after channel on YouTube, and I never hear them say, please help me find my son. I never hear them say, we have to try harder to get him back. We just don't hear that. So I can't fault them for that, because I would be screaming it from the rooftops. I think we all would. So hang on just a second if y'all don't mind. I need to get a dog outside. Hang on just a minute. Okay, never mind. she was she took her in her room, so anyways, I can fault the parents for their own drama they've caused. Yeah, I'm too honest. The stupidity. Yeah, especially Mr. Chris. Exactly. I'm starting to wonder, Kathy, do they even want him back? I do think Seth does. I do think Seth wants him back. But I just don't think Katie and Chris do. And being on YouTube is fine. Keep your child's name out there, keep his story alive. But they're not doing that. So, oh, thanks, Millie. Y'all, I got merch, and there's just some t-shirts right now. But you will love the lollipop one. Oh my gosh. Everybody calls me lollipop. But Cow Tees did an amazing job on the lollipop t-shirt. It was super cool. And they're good quality too. But you have a child that's missing. You have a child with autism that is missing. And I look at it this way, a child just that has no issues and no physical or mental issues whatsoever, and they go missing. They could slip through the cracks somewhere. But to have an autistic child that's basically going through puberty, trying to figure out what the heck is going on with himself, and I don't think being off of his medicine as long as he has, this child's going to be quiet. I don't think he would be quietly sitting somewhere hiding out. So why has no one seen him? Why has no one heard him? That's a big question. And I still have the hard questions for Chris that nobody's asked him yet. And I want to ask Katie, what happened with that thud? Because I, in my opinion, believe that thud is crucial. Were you standing there with him when that thud happened, Katie? Because he couldn't get hit in the head. So, what happened, Katie? That's what I want to know. And I think if we can figure out Katie's timeline from 9 o'clock until 6 in the morning there, who exactly was there, exactly what time did Sebastian go to bed? Because if she would have put him to bed, told him go to bed at 9 o'clock, gave him his medicine at 9 o'clock, that child would have not been up still over an hour later. That stuff would have had him asleep. Because that's what it's for. So, yes, I was so glad to see that they found that Chad Daybell was found guilty. Yeah. See, that's another thing, Lisa. Where was the thud? Where did it happen? Where did it happen? There's that missing timeline. Just like we talked before, there is a missing timeline there. And if there was ever some truth told about that missing timeline, we would have answers in both of these cases, Sebastian's and Summers. Yes, September. Why would you not go check on your child, especially a child who has fluid on their brain and cannot get hit in the head? Yeah. There is so much, so many questions. Yes, criminal justice. You and me both. I mean, I would have heard that and I would have jumped and ran. None of it makes sense whatsoever. Because Katie knows exactly what Sebastian had. She knew the severity of him possibly getting hit on the head and what could happen. And yet she found it more important to stay on the phone after hearing a thud. And I honestly believe that thud is a very important part of this story. So I don't know until she decides to come clean, until she decides to tell the truth, until she decides to tell the real story. Y'all, I'm afraid Sebastian's just going to get lost along the way, just like Summer has. That 3-hour phone call, I honestly believe that 3-hour phone call was a cover up. It was an alibi. Yeah, it's almost like they did call up the Wells. And, Lord have mercy at the similarities in these two cases. They're a little too close. A little too close. And yet here we are, trying our very best to talk about them, trying our very best to avoid the drama, trying our very best just to keep their face and their name out there and their story. And yet their parents don't care enough to tell the truth about the missing time, the unaccounted for time. Because, y'all, I honestly believe 100% with my whole heart, if we found out that missing time, we would find out what really happened. But it's just, yeah, 3 hours. It's just crazy. Some of the stories that are being told out there, I don't understand a parent that can protect themselves and leave their child somewhere. I mean, even if he's no longer with us, why would you want him put somewhere and covered up somewhere? I would want him to be put to rest, have a headstone, a place to go visit. I mean, I would do that. Hi, Miss Chewy. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you. So, yeah, I don't understand if something happened to Sebastian in that house, in that garage. Why would you not want your child to be put to rest properly? I mean, I would totally go to jail for the rest of my life with a clear conscience, knowing my child is put to rest properly, not just disposed of. If he's still alive, you're going to get caught because somebody one day will see him. Somebody one day will catch on, and you're going to get caught. I couldn't imagine living a life like that, waiting every day. Has somebody seen him? Have they seen him? Are they keeping him? I don't know. I don't understand it. And I don't understand it all because I would never do that. I could never do that. If something happened to my child in my home, I would call instantly with the hope and the prayer that somebody's going to come here and do their best to make my child okay. But Katie and Chris didn't see it that way. They didn't see it that way. because maybe they didn't want to. Maybe that was their out. I don't know. But I do think that could possibly be it. You know, having a child with autism and the emotional outburst and the anger and the confusion and the anxiety, it's got to be a lot. Especially a 15-year-old boy trying to discover who he's supposed to be and all this good stuff. Just a normal, everyday 15-year-old boy is difficult to live with. But throw in having that autism added in, have the fluid on the brain. You know, I mean, there's got to be a lot to that. It's got to be very tiring. And if you're not a parent that's committed to that, then I guess it would be easy to play something off. But most of us here in chat that I see and in your comments and all that stuff, we just don't get it. We don't get it. Yeah, him not sleeping. I mean, goodness. But they were giving him medicine to go to sleep. They were giving him medicine. And I'm sure it affected him a little differently. But y'all, I could not stay awake when I took one of those medications. I was driving to my friend's house. She lives 5 hours away on the west side of Texas. I had to stop twice just to take a nap because I couldn't stay awake. And I didn't even take a pill that morning, but it gets into your system and that's what it'll do to you. It takes you so down. And somebody with high anxiety, really, really high, you know, and somebody with hypersensitivity, you know, just it brings them down. So was she not giving him his medicine? I don't know. But I do wonder about it because if it wasn't working, then you probably should say something to the doctor so that he's not taking something that's not good for him. Really whistle. It didn't help you sleep. Wow. So see, if he didn't sleep, then she should have went and talked to the doctor and got something that would work for him. You know, I'll never forget it. My son was, God, he was probably 3, and he had real bad allergies. I would give him Benadryl because he had the runny nose. Every once in a while, the sneezing, his eyes would water. He was really hyper as a kid. I'm talking bouncing off the walls. I would give him Benadryl, and he would be climbing the walls. He would not sleep. It made him go 50 times faster than he normally was. And I took him to the doctor one day, and I said, what do I do? What can I give him? And he said, well, Benadryl, that's what's going to help him the best. And I said, please don't make me give him Benadryl. I'm so tired. He doesn't sleep. He bounces off the walls. He's running, playing, giggling, everything. He does not sleep. And my doctor, or his doctor at the time, said, okay, so let's give him Dimetap and double the dose. There was something in Benadryl that makes hyper people more hyper. And so I had to double the dose of of Dimetap. And he would just settle down. The runny nose and the watery eyes stopped. It was a perfect medicine for him. So she could have done something. She could have. But it's not always going to work out the first time. Sometimes you just got to keep working until you find that right thing. So, looking for kids who come up missing, it's a hard job. It's difficult. Looking for kids who come up missing when there's absolutely no trace of anything. No signs of abduction, no signs of, oh, she went with a family member. He took off over here to his friend's house. I mean, little monkey, we know he took off walking. He was seen walking down the road. So somebody picked him up because he's not been found anywhere near his house and he was walking down his road. Now, Summer, she was what? Out on the swing? Was she in the basement? We've heard several stories there. And Sebastian in his bedroom. These kids don't disappear. Yeah. Lisa, totally. Bingo. Boom. Why didn't his parents get on the local news? They're not searching. They're not going to search for something they know where it is. I honestly believe that. Hey, no. But they're not going to search for something that they know where it is. Chris and Katie went on Nancy Grace. But Nancy Grace didn't get to see the real side of Chris. Because he was yes, ma'am, no, ma'am. He was very sweet, very polite, very kind, very proper. Nancy Grace didn't get to see the real side of him. So it really didn't do no good. But yeah, you don't give up. You just got to keep going until you find the right balance. And that's the thing. Did she even try to find that right balance? Or did she just not give him medication? Or did she try to work out the amount she gave him herself? So, lots of questions. That timeline, that night. There's the answers there. But Katie's not telling us. So, okay. Miss Kathy said my grandson that I have custody of has ADHD, is on medication, and he couldn't sleep at night. and was on melatonin for a while and now is off of it and seems to be sleeping okay now. So, there's things that are out there. There are things that are out there. It can happen. You can work it out. You can figure it out. Yeah. There for a while, guys, I don't sleep good at night. I mean, I will stay up all night, all the next day. I'll just keep going. No drugs, no nothing, no. It's a family thing. My dad was that way. My uncle is still in his 80s and he's still that way. He doesn't sleep well at night. My son was that way. I'm that way. My granddaughter, the oldest one, she's that way. And, I took melatonin for a while. And over time, I would have the most vivid dreams. They weren't bad dreams, they were just dreams. But they were so bright and the colors were so vivid. And I remembered every single part of it. It was crazy. And after I had quit taking melatonin, because the doctor told me to quit taking it because they were going to give me something else. And it was something for my kidneys. So it would kind of counteract. And the very vivid dreams stopped. It was wild. You do, Janice? Yeah, on melatonin. Wow. Some people are very different. Now, my mother-in-law and my sister-in-law, I know they take melatonin. And it doesn't seem to affect them at all. But I don't know. We're all so different. We're made different. Oh, wow. At 5 years old? Wow. That's crazy. It's amazing how the mind works. It's amazing how our body works and things that affect us and then things that don't affect us. And we all have to learn. One day, one step at a time. Okay, September. That is something very interesting. She said, what are the chances that Katie put him in a hospital or such because she was tired of both Chris and Seth? I've often wondered about that. I really have. Because the boy was 15 years old and he was in pull-up while he's at his mother's house. So that just pretty much tells me there was no consistency with things. I know he was smart enough to learn because he was a very intelligent child. The understanding part can be learned, but it takes a lot. And maybe she just didn't want to work with that discipline of no water after a certain amount of time, no drinks after a certain amount of time, set a timer, get him up, go to the bathroom till his body starts reacting and he can start telling himself. But then again, abuse is something that can trigger that as well. So, I don't know, guys. I don't know. Maybe she was just too tired. Maybe she was exhausted. I often wonder if that's something in September that they did, put him away somewhere like that so that they could get custody of his daughter. That's another thing I wondered about. Because the timing is just, it's hard not to question the timing when you just sit down and go, oh my God, he was about to go to court. And Sebastian could have stood in his way of getting his daughter. Exactly, Lisa. He would, if he was locked in his room and couldn't get to the bathroom, she said he would get up and eat all night. So that's possible. They may have locked his door to keep him from going to eat all night. Very possible. I don't know that we'll ever find out the truth about that life inside of that house while Sebastian was living there. Oh, yeah, I'm too honest. If this child is alive, somebody is still facing charges involving law without having to, oh my, could you imagine if Sebastian's alive and they've hidden him somewhere? Could you imagine the trouble they would be in right now with all the law enforcement? Look at the lady who faked her kidnapping and then came back home. I mean, why would people even do that? Yeah, just until she could square things away. I would think the doctors would have to tell. Yeah, I would think they would have. Yeah, I agree, One Love. They would have to go to jail. I mean, they would have a lot of fines because that's a lot of manpower. That's a lot of time that has been spent looking for Sebastian. And then it's not only local law enforcement, but TBI as well. And that's pretty deep. And if the FBI is involved at all whatsoever, which I would think they would be involved to a point because they crossed the line going into Kentucky to look at the landfill. Hey, Mrs. Hill, how you doing? I hope everything's good your way. But yeah, I would think that, they would have to get the FBI involved in it to a point there. So yeah, there would be trouble. And I just think if they ever were caught doing that, Chris could kiss his daughter goodbye. He would never see her again. So, anyways, guys, I have a softball uniform that has got to be washed, and it's a hand wash. And then I have her hair that has to come down, and it's got red hair mixed in black hair mixed into it. So it's going to be a mess. I still need to do that and get kiddos in bed, get myself in the shower, and get to bed because we got to do it all again tomorrow. Softball and baseball. So thanks, One Love. I'll have to send you the grandson next. He's so sweet. But y'all just keep putting this picture out there. Keep talking about him. Let's just keep trying to understand who Sebastian was, what could possibly be the reason that he would become possibly angry or upset, or what happened in the house, because all we can do is speculate at this point. But knowing as a teen what he was going through, maybe that'll help us to understand a little better about what all he was thinking, as well as going through physically and mentally. So I just wanted to do this part. We will look into the other part where, his the rest of his diagnosis. So we will check into that. I'm also working on another live so we can talk about summer some more. And I know there's lots that's going on out in the streets, and a lot of people avoiding things as well. So y'all just hang in there, protect yourself, look out for yourself, and be careful on the streets. Yes, we do miss you, Ziggy. We do, we do. But thank you all for being here. Y'all are amazing, as always. Y'all are so loved. I love y'all so much. Y'all are the greatest. I love our conversations we have in chat. I love how everybody gets along and you can say things and then we ask questions and then we go from there. And yeah, it's great. I'm very fortunate, and it's all because of you guys. So y'all hit the like, share it out or something. Help keep me afloat here on my little baby channel still. But thank y'all for always supporting me and believing in me. It really does mean a lot. It really does. So have a great Sunday tomorrow. Everybody enjoy. I will be back on as soon as I can. It might take me a day or two to recoup. These kids are wearing me down quick, but hey, they didn't interrupt us. I think they're just as tired as Lolly is. But, anyways, we will see y'all soon, and y'all take care, okay? Love and hug everybody. Bye.